Okay, now we're going to solve Igloo Insanity. So we have 7 pieces, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G to our game, and they're going to go in one of 7 places, with first being the coldest and last being the warmest. Our first rule says B, D, and E are consecutive, B colder than D, and D colder than E. Now what's interesting about this rule is that we weren't just told that they were in order, but rather that they were actually consecutive, and which one was the coldest, which one was the middle, next coldest, and which one was the warmest between B, D, and E, that they take up a 3-piece block. This tells us that they could take up spots 1, 2, and 3, or 2, 3, and 4, so on and so forth on our board. The box takes up 3 spaces. There's an A-B relationship and a C-B relationship, and both of those get a single line to show that they are colder than the B. They come before B on that ordering of 1 through 7. And quickly we see that Rule 2 matches up with Rule 1 in that they both call in the piece B. So then we can put them together just like this and show that A and C are separately before the B, D, E block. Our final rule, Rule 3, says that G is next warmest after F. That means that they are consecutive, right? It goes right after. And also warmest means later. It means towards number 7 because 1 was our coldest piece. So if G is next warmest, well then that means we've got an FG block. The last thing we need to do is check for floaters. So we've talked about B, D, and E in Rule 1, A and C in Rule 2, and F and G in Rule 3. So it looks like we don't have any floaters in this game. All pieces have been mentioned. So our first question asks us about the correct order of the first 4 igloos, and we can look at our large block that says that we need B, D, and E in a row with A and C before it. And if we look at answer choice B, we don't see A and C before the large block of B, D, E in that order because E is before B. In answer choice C, we see B, D, and E in a block, but we don't see A and C both before the block, so it's out. Now, if we look at answer choice D, we should be seeing A and C before B, D, and E, and we only see the A. And lastly, if we look for the F and G block, we see that it is broken in answer choice A, leaving us with answer choice E, A, C, F, G. And the question becomes, where does the B, D, and E block go? And it would come after the FG block. We can also note that the A and C are free to move, that they are not constrained in spaces 1 and 2 because they just needed to be before the B, D, E block. There was no reason that they had to be forced into those 2 spaces. They could switch. Next, we're asked, if F is the second coldest igloo, what could be true? Well, starting with the F in the second place, we know that the G must follow, so we can put that immediately onto our game board as that block in 2 and 3. Now we have 5 spaces left, the 1st, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th to fill in. And all we have left as pieces to put in are B, D, and E with the A and C coming beforehand. So if we look at where that large piece of 5 pieces, the A, C before B, D, and E can go, we see that it must go in spaces 5, 6, and 7, leaving A and C before the B, D, E block, switching between the 1st and 4th place. Now because this is a could-be-true question, we're generally going to expect that the A and C are the focus of this question because those are the only 2 pieces that can still move. And if we skim our answer choices, we see that A is the coldest igloo is given to us as an answer choice, and the other 4 answer choices, B is 3rd coldest, D is 3rd coldest, E is 6th coldest, and B is 4th coldest, all don't match up with our game board, so those are not viable could-be-true options. The next question asks, if B is the 3rd coldest igloo, what must be true? And must be true questions ask us about fixed position game pieces. Now if we put B 3rd, we can then put D and E next into spots 4 and 5. Now what do we know about this B, D, E block? Well, we know from our combo piece from rules 1 and 2 that A and C must go in before it, but we don't know if they're going in space 1 or 2, right? A and C can trade off, so we indicate that. And lastly, we have the FG block, which needs to be placed somewhere, so we put it in spaces 6 and 7. Now for the must-be-true question asking us about fixed things, with B in 3rd, D and E in 4 and 5 are fixed, but that's not very interesting, right? There's no work really being done by just putting B down. So when we ask ourselves, where was something put in place or fixed in place, outside of just that immediate answer from the putting the B in the third spot, we then should shift right to the F in 6th and G in 7th. And sure enough, we get G is the warmest igloo, right? That's the 7th place igloo as an answer choice. A is the coldest. No, we said A and C can switch. A is second coldest. Same thing. G is second warmest. No, G was the warmest. And D is the 5th warmest. No, we can count over warmest from the right and see that D is the 4th warmest, not the 5th warmest. Next, we're asked who could be the second coldest igloo. So who can go in spot number 2? Well, from our first game board and our third game board, we see that A and C can both go in spot number 2. And this is an except question. So those are not our answers. They are not forbidden from spot 2. They are openly allowed in spot 2. F is also allowed in spot 2. We see that in our second game board. So once we eliminate those as potential options, we're between B and G. And if we put B in spot 2, we can quickly realize B, D, and E in spots 2, 3, and 4 would then leave no room for A and C. They would fall off the board. So through this, we see that B in spot 2 cannot be true. The others could be true except, well, B in 2 was the correct answer to the except question because it was forbidden from being in the second place. We're asked, if G is the 4th coldest, how many other pieces are completely determined? Well, if the G is the 4th coldest, we know that the F must precede it in spot 3. We also know that the B, D, E blocks are also locked in place. So that is F, B, D, and E are fixed in place. That is 4 other pieces that are locked in place.